Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 2 of our show, The Podcast of Us. This is a weekly podcast covering all things The Last of Us, covering the brand new TV show and revisiting the 2 games of the same name. Just to let you know, if you've missed any previous episodes, they are all linked down below, and at this point we've actually got a playlist going, with this being the 3rd episode in that playlist. My name's Matt from Mateus Players, who's streaming currently live at twitch.tv/Mateus Players, link down below, and we'll be doing this every Tuesday at 7:30. I'm joined here as always with Drew from Drewdaism, link down below. Say hello, Drew.
Hello.
Thank you very much. And Nathan from No Internet Footprint. Say hello, Nathan.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Nathan. I knew it. I knew it.
God.
I'd nearly pack that in right now. I'd like to say a big hello to everyone watching live and to everyone watching on YouTube. Really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for your support. So something I kind of failed on last week, but I remembered this time, is this is your spoiler warning. We are about to delve in and dive in to episode 2 of The Last of Us, titled Infected. So this is your warning. So sit back, relax, and let's hear some thoughts on episode 2, titled Infected, runtime of 52 minutes. Would anyone like to kick us off with some overall thoughts before I jump in to the story recap? Go on,
I liked it.
Go on, guys.
Oh, you going first?
I'll hold off. I'll let some. Yeah, go on, Nathan. Go on.
I really liked it. I was keen to see how they were going through the city this time. There was a lot of Fedra in the game, not so much here. They kind of stopped that chase almost immediately, which I didn't mind, but it was cool how they still navigate the city. Familiar landmarks, a few new landmarks chucked in there, encounters from the game we get to see in the show, and then a tense ending. Like, it was genuinely tense, even though you could kind of tell what was going to happen. Yeah, no, I was feeling the tension for sure.
So this is just how we feel about the overall episode.
Absolutely, yeah.
I've got some issues.
Oh no!
But I'll go through them throughout the talking tonight.
Yep.
My overall thing was too bloody short.
Oh, he wanted more.
And I'll get to the reason why I felt it was short.
Oh, no.
I will.
I'm excited, and I'm a part of this podcast. We don't talk about this prior to the podcast, so there's about 24 hours where me, Nathan, and Drew don't make eye contact and we don't talk to each other about this, and it's really bad.
All at the urinals, no eye contact.
Yeah, don't know if you guys can tell, but it's a lot of making it up on the spot. I know, it's pretty professional, right?
How did you think? What did you think, Matt?
I liked it. I think it was, again, I find myself falling into the same trap of I've played the game, I know how this is going to play out.
Yeah.
So it's a gift and a curse in that sense. But I think they deviated just enough to make it still an interesting watch for someone who has played the game, and for someone with brand new eyes coming in and kind of seeing this as the TV show. I liked it. And do you know what I really liked?
Oh, go on.
The fact that the episode kicked off in the past, in the pre-pandemic times.
I have to disagree.
What? I've literally recapped the first part of the story, and you've already disagreed.
I have to disagree.
Go on then. Go on. Do you want me to explain a bit more, or are you just going to go straight in for the?
It was a flashback.
Oh, of course. Of course.
No, listen to me. I left the first episode happy, full of Last of Us content, and they leave us panning out while they're walking into the city, running away from Fedra, and then you hear clickers and all that in the background, and you think it's going to kick off, and then the second episode starts with the flashback of how the virus started. I don't care about that right now. I want to know more about them going into the city with the infected and the clickers. What's even more important about that is that whole opening thing about the back in 2003, how the virus started, lasted half an hour.
I didn't know it lasted that long.
Half an hour.
Oh.
We only saw the most recent, the present day, if you will, for half an hour. That's why, to me, it felt really short. I don't know. Me personally,
it wasn't half an hour.
It wasn't half an hour.
I pressed pause on my Skybox, and it was half an hour.
Well, no, the episode was 50 minutes. We didn't get 20 minutes of the.
All right, give me break it off like 10 minutes for ad breaks. I've got fast forward ad breaks, but it was still like almost half the episode was a flashback.
I think it was about 15 minutes. from what I
No, I disagree.
Oh no, we'll get it on screen now.
Don't you make me edit
Sorry,
more.
I disagree. It was. I don't necessarily care at the moment about how the virus started. You know, we covered that. There's an outbreak. Cool, fine, whatever. Let's focus now on killing clickers and
No.
getting Ellie to the QZ. All right, let's just
You're
get her
such
there.
a live in the moment guy, aren't you? You
Yeah,
don't
I
care
am.
about how
Yeah,
or why.
yeah, I
You just
am.
care about the what am I killing next.
I do
They
get.
confirmed the theory about Flower. Fine, I get it. I don't know. I don't think it needs to be like 20 minutes of a whole episode of me sitting there. And all they had was a cadaver on the fucking table with shit crawling out of it. They dissected it. Yeah, we know. It crawls out of their mouth. Yeah, sick. Great. Get to the clickers.
I do see what you mean about. It's almost like just a sudden drop in pace because you've got the setup in the first episode and it ramps up and it ramps up. We're getting to where we're going to be. The journey's about to start and all the way back to the start.
Exactly. And this is
And
my whole thing
then-
about flashbacks. It's my whole thing. They always do the flashbacks at a point where they leave them like a cliffhanger. And that's what I don't like. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. And they go, no. Don't you want to see what happened in Indonesia, which will never, ever turn up again in the entire show about Indonesia and some cadaver? And they're like, what would you do? Oh, I'd bomb it. Yeah, we know. It was a pretty bad virus. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about it right now. Focus on the story. I don't need to care about what happened 20 years ago.
It
The
does.
last thing that happened 20 years ago was Sarah died. All right? That's it. Be all and end all. I don't care about anyone else's stories. Sarah died. What's
It
the
do-
other about?
I'm just wondering what new information did we get from that flashback?
Nothing. The fact
we
that
look-
it started in Indonesia, that was it. And they said there's no cures, and whatever you do is you just bomb the city with us in it because you got to stop the outbreak.
Because the radio in episode 1 told us that it started off in Jakarta from what they could tell, and the mycologist, I think, as she was, she said there's no vaccine, there's no cure. I'm just wondering, and yeah, as you said, the body had tendrils coming out of its mouth. We knew that. I'm just wondering what new information this is going to be, unless they're using this to set up new flashback stories that will follow it. Because otherwise, why would they throw that in there? I'm not too sure.
I don't want a Fear of the Walking Dead. I don't care.
I think you're going to get one, mate.
I don't.
The
I
Fear of the
don't
Last
want
of
it.
Us. It's going to call it the All of Us. It's what it's going to be. I think it helped lay the foundation behind what started the outbreak, which I personally was very interested in. As just as myself, I don't know if it's covered very much in the video game itself. Maybe through a couple of notes and a couple of newspapers kind of scattered around and collectibles that you found or find. But I really liked that. When you had the subtitles on the first episode, you heard about Jakarta and something kicking off over there. And it's like, oh my God, now we get to find out we're in Jakarta. And I took an actual breath like, oh, we're going to find out how this thing started now. And a microbiologist, that's what I'm going to call her. I called her an official. She's talking with the military, and the military's found this new cordyceps growing out of people, and they see the first bites and the kind of gross autopsy of one of the first infected people, and just her reaction of like going back again to episode 1 of like, there is no cure, we can't win, we have lost, and she's like, just bomb this bitch. Bomb this city. We have already lost. It is in the food. It is all over the world. We cannot win. And I think the most important thing of this flashback is that the bread theory was correct.
I mean, that's why I didn't mind this, because they were saying how the worker was from a grain and flour factory on the west side of town, and I was like, fungus biscuit theory confirmed.
I was a bit upset about
Pack
the
it-
fungus bit.
Pack it up, boys.
I did. I'm pretty sure I did put my head in my hands, and Kat was like, "What's the matter with you?" I was like, "Nathan was right."
It's the worst feeling.
It felt so ridiculous at first, but now I'm like, oh yeah, no, okay, fair enough.
I'm not against finding out more about the outbreak. I just don't think that it needed to be at the beginning of the second episode when they left us on
I
that.
think it's the perfect place for a flashback, unfortunately.
Nah.
But the last thing we see in this flashback is this woman's like, I want to go back to my family, bomb the city, I want to spend my last moments with them. And I think it's a fantastic segue that it's then shoots us back to 2023, where we're then met with the guys, Joel, Tess and Ellie, talking about the aftermath of the bombs. So it clearly, what she said went down, and it was one of the cities that they were in. Are they in Boston? I keep forgetting, I'm afraid.
They're in Boston.
They're in
currently,
Boston,
yeah,
so
just
it
outside
was,
Dickinson.
and Boston was one of the successful ones. So what we're about to experience here is a successful bombing run of Boston that to contain the infection, and it clearly worked because they got the quarantine zone set up.
I did think that mycologist's response with just bomb everyone.
Does she have that power?
I mean, yeah. First of all, you are talking to the military. Yeah, they're not going to be like, all right, cool. We've heard the magic word bomb. Let's go in.
I love
They're not
bombs.
like, is there no nuance? Plan A, plan B. Like, should we get an epidemiologist in who manages outbreaks and stuff like that? No.
No,
Carpet bombs.
straight to bombing.
skip any sort of quarantine measures. Just all the quarantine measures that we've got here. Skip all that. Just bomb them.
I think it was more the fact that that was like the first few cases. Like, it wasn't worldwide at that point. It was just in that town, and I think that was her thing. Just make sure it doesn't get out. It was just going to be localized bombing. Just chilled.
Just a local bombing.
Localized bombing.
Just a local bombing.
And make sure you wipe it off the face of the earth.
Just bomb the grain and flour factory and see how you feel after that.
I'm here for that approach.
Yeah.
Bomb first, ask questions later. I'm here for it.
So next up, we have our group of three, the Three Musketeers. They get onto a big empty road, and this is one of my favourite parts, is that Ellie kind of starts to talk about the rumours that she's heard while in the quarantine zone. And a couple of the rumours she's heard is about an infected that's able to spread spores. And Joel and Tess kind of share a look here like, oh my gosh. So is this, I thought this was them kind of having a subtle nod at the fact that they don't have the spores in this TV show as compared to the video game. And I thought, they're making a bit of a joke that it's tendrils, it's not spores, what Ellie's talking about. Joel and Tess are kind of sharing this look like, this is ridiculous what you're talking about. But then I kind of remembered what the bloaters do as an attack. And this made me think about this scene in a different way of like Joel and Tess are now looking at each other like, holy shit, like how does she know about bloaters? Has she done a bit of foreshadowing here to talk about what we're going to go up against later on in this journey? And then Ellie brings up another rumor that she's heard. It was like this, is it this half bat thing? This thing that hangs upside down and has half a face that eats people?
I thought she was talking about the clickers for that.
So did I. But to my knowledge, I didn't know the clickers kind of opened up.
I didn't get the hanging upside down.
I just might have heard bat and just went with that, yeah.
To me, it was like she was talking about there's the infected, obviously the run that everyone knows, but then they've got the longer ones where their face has exploded, which is obviously the fungus on their face.
Yep.
Excuse me. And they're blind, so they can only work off like sound. And then that's what I got from that. And then the bloaters. And I thought Joel and Tess like looked at each other like, yeah, we know about clickers. But when she started talking about bloaters, they was like, fucking hope not.
You better be fucking say psych right now, like.
Leave it out, Ellie. She got to calm down. We're all scared.
Ellie was very much into her comics with monsters and vampires and stuff like that. So whether it's kind of part, child imagination mixed in with, rumors, what she's heard, rumors do spread around, maybe around the military school that she was at.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's a good point. Yeah, I can tell either way what that reaction was or what they were thinking.
And then we come to a choice. The group kind of come to their first choice of the long way or the short way. And the short way definitely turns out to be the dead and the death way. So they try the long way first. And is this where they have a bit of a conversation on the way? We learn a bit more about Ellie and how she got bit and where she got bit. And I thought it was weird, but I think she done it for a reason that she didn't mention Riley.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to skip back to the, if it's all right, just to like the first scene when they're actually when we go into post-pandemic world again with Joel and Ellie, when they were kind of giving Ellie the magazine and be like, look, we haven't got any toilet paper, sorry.
Yeah.
That place. I somehow at least got hold of smuggled chicken, which I was just thinking at an absolutely ridiculous price. I mean, even Joel and Tess were surprised by the chicken, and they're smugglers. They're like, where are you getting chicken from?
I thought she got it off of Marlene.
Yeah, but Joel and Tess were like, where are you getting where are you getting chicken from? She's casually eating a chicken sandwich. If you were eating a chicken sandwich when you're like on a diet of beef jerky for the last 20 years, you'd be pretty jelly. And I thought some of Ellie's jokes, starting off with the, when Joel was like, "I swear to God, if she starts twitching," and Ellie's like, I thought that was.
I would have fucking shot her in the face right there and then.
Yeah, I
Bang!
was partially like, this was almost the end of the series if Joel just pulled that big iron on its hip and just blasted her away there and then. That could have been game over. But yeah, no, I just like her jokes didn't come off as bad as I thought they would. At least at the start here. Yeah, it kind of got that playfulness there, so that was cool and funny. But yeah, that's all I had to say on that part, really.
The twitchy joke is the thing I saw in the trailer I didn't like. I didn't think she'd be able to pull it off, and I still stand by that. I don't think the twitchy joke came off well, but all the other jokes seem to be getting better. But jury's still out for me, man. At the moment, I haven't
You haven't warmed up to it yet.
No, I haven't. I think she's great. I don't. It's just not. It's not completely Ellie about her yet. I don't know what it is.
How do you feel about a potential generation of people who will watch this first and see her as their original Ellie, and then go play the video games, and then get introduced to kind of like a bit of a switch around about how we're experiencing the two different Ellies? How do you think they're going to experience those two different Ellies? Do you think they're going to have a bit of like the same kind of feeling of she doesn't feel quite right to me. She's not rubbing off on me just yet. She hasn't grown on me yet.
No, I think the in-game Ellie is by far better, and I think everyone would agree with that.
Yeah, I think so too. I do think that even with Ellie and Joel, we have a different Ellie and Joel, which I'm happy with in the show. I don't think you can completely replicate what they have in the game in the show, but I think there's just that acceptance of we have slightly different iterations of these characters.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to explore either, you go to the show or you go to the game.
Pedro's doing a pretty bloody good job, though, Nathan.
He's doing it right.
I think he's that's Matt's quandary for this episode. I think he's doing great. It's just he's a noticeably different Joel to me that I can see than the game. Not that it's a bad thing, but I'm seeing two different styles of Joel and Ellie here, which I'm all for, but it is different. Yeah.
He's broken his little wrist as well, hasn't he? Doing all of his punching. He's got a little hairline fracture.
It will heal. Don't worry about it.
He'll heal quickly, and I was like,
yeah, it's hard, mate.
No doctors here, mate.
On his diet of rats and grass. Yeah.
So before the team make their way to the hotel, we get a really good look at how the tendrils and how all of the clickers, newly infected, and all the zombies kind of communicate with each other.
That wasn't in the game, was it?
This wasn't in the game. Absolutely. So the way the guys are connected are essentially like one huge being and a kind of hive mind. So if one feels something on one of these routes, everything in the area kind of feels the same thing and gets alerted by this. But it seems to be only when they're touching the roots.
Which is out of order.
Massively out of order. They didn't have anything like this in the game. It was mainly the spores that spread it, so I completely understand why they've had to have the tendrils kind of work as a hive mind. I think it's really cool because even in real life, our world, that's exactly how mushrooms communicate. I think there's an absolutely huge network of fungus in America somewhere that's spread 4 square miles. And they've been able to kind of shoot electricity down it and see how far it spreads out. And they affected one area, and then this mushroom kind of reinforced that area so growth can continue. Yeah. Really, really cool. And I'm kind of disappointed they didn't have this in the game. They've gone down such a hardcore cordyceps route in the game. I thought this would be right up there along with the spores and also this whole tendril system. I'm kind of disappointed it's not in the game. I think the way they've handled this is really, really cool.
I don't think we should be pissing off the mushrooms, to be honest, sending electricity down them at this stage when we can see what's really going to happen.
It's shock therapy, mate.
Yeah. I think we should leave them alone. No scientist of the articles I've read has gone, oh, well, it can't happen. I mean, it might just take a while to happen. Yeah. And I'm like, let's not piss them off. But yeah, no, it is cool. They're like fungal tripwires, aren't they, essentially?
Yeah, and I thought as they're watching them over this balcony, and you kind of see these zombies like roll over as a wave, and it's just where this signal was moving from one to the next to roll over or do whatever. Oh, absolutely
I thought that was sunlight.
That was sunlight, yeah.
Was that sunlight? I thought it was them rolling over.
Yeah. Oh, the sunlight.
Because that's the other thing. Were they being affected by the sunlight, or was it the warmth from the sun? I couldn't work out why they were moving, why it was having such a thing for them, why it was causing a reaction. Because they're out in the daytime, like there's nothing wrong about that. So why, when the sun is on them, is it because of the heat and they're like, oh,
a bit hot,
and
innit?
it's a bit warm?
I think it might damage them because outside of the sorry if I'm jumping ahead a bit, but
Oh, go
outside
for
of the museum, Joel gun-butted part of the mushroom. I'm going to call it mushroom. I don't know what to call it. The mushroom tendrils, cordyceps tendrils on the floor, and it was dried out. So I'm thinking that the more the zombies are in the sun, the more they'll dry out because over time they can just dry out to dust. So
I
that
think
might
global warming's the answer. I've solved
more global warming.
Globin more. Heat up this earth.
Mix it up.
Not that they're vampires, but I think it's noticeable. I think just like mushrooms, like they always grow like in the shade of trees. They're not just out in the open, you know. So that's their preferred shade and stuff like that. So they just react to it probably.
It was quite nice to hear Joel talk about the lifespan of the infected as well. I mean, if he said a couple of months for the newly infected, I was like, that's fantastic. Everyone just hold up for a couple of months and we'll be fine. You know, they'll all die out, they'll all shrivel up. This is great. Then you get like the clickers, then alive for what, more over a year? I think
Something like that.
I think he said.
I mean, they're definitely the more evolved form. Over time, the fungus takes over and they become more and more engulfed by it. So yeah, click is definitely the next gen. Yeah.
Ugh. And then I don't know if he mentioned anything about bloaters after that. He kind of like just stopped at the clickers, like, you're not ready for that, kid.
I don't think he's seen bloaters yet.
Do you not think that?
No, I don't think he's seen them.
Well, let's
I think
get
he's
over.
gone out, hasn't he? Like,
Yeah.
he does smuggles, but I don't think he's been far. And I would imagine that at the time of the outbreak, that you'd bunker down, wouldn't you? So he would have gone to like a QZ or whatever. Let's say at most he was on the road for like 2 or 3 years. He would have only really come into contact with clickers, the first bout of clickers.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been long enough,
wouldn't
would it? Yeah, to make bloaters, you have to be infected for a really
And
long
once you
time.
kind of get into a position and you start hunkering down, you won't really go too far out, would you? You'd stay quite localized. So I don't think he's come across bloaters yet.
Oh, do you know where I reckon there's loads of bloaters?
Where?
Jakarta. I reckon we're going back to Jakarta, boys.
Oh, don't.
Oh,
no.
We're going back, boys. Pack your bags.
I wouldn't be surprised if we going back to Jakarta.
Yep.
Oh,
In
Why else would they tell
2023.
flashback? Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon that's where Tommy is. Anyway, moving on.
There's 2 things. There's another thing next to flashbacks I don't like, and it's a B story. All right, I don't need to go off to Jakarta and find out what's happening over there. Just follow the 2 protagonists. Leave me alone. Just let me be with them. Stop going off over there. Find out what's going on over there.
Stop taking
Boring,
my
mate.
things.
Oh, so annoying.
So the team try the hotel, the flooded out hotel.
Yeah.
And they tried to pass through, but a frog plays out a sick old piano solo.
I love the frog. I love the frog touch, and a couple of ducks in there as well.
Absolutely. Big
Well,
fan
very
for the
correct.
ducks. It's nice to see that the infection doesn't affect the ducks or the frogs, only the people.
Slight concern though, discrepancy, I should say.
Mhm.
In the game, that hotel is not in Boston.
Oh.
The hotel is in Pittsburgh.
Oh.
So, which we're not going to be for probably until episode 4,
Mhm.
maybe, or end of episode 3, perhaps. But yeah, I think because it's the same. The flooded floor up to the knees, the counters and the decor seems to be the same as the hotel in Pittsburgh. So I think they maybe just changed a few things around there. Because in the game, the journey, they walked up to the skyscrapers. They went through the skyscrapers, into the subway, into the museum, and then into the Capitol building. But in the show, they went to the highway bridge, as you said, then the hotel, then the museum, then the Capitol building. So it's diverged slightly, but yeah, no, they've gone different ways and maybe pulled things from different parts of the game. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know all that. I didn't have their roadmap completely followed down to the T.
That's why we got Nathan here. That's why we got Nathan.
Wake up, dead guy.
So the hotel's a dead end. So now they've got to go the short and the death way. So they make their way towards the museum. And then this is kind of where Nathan jumped forward a little bit, and we kind of get a bit more information on the tendrils and what they mean. So they're standing outside, and they notice a kind of dried out tendril outside the building leading its way in, which kind of gives us an idea, or gives them an idea, that there's no infected inside. It's going to be relatively safe. It's a cool little feature. They're really using the tendrils not just as a way to infect other people, not just a way of communication, but the survivors and the people kind of out there are starting to learn and take notes of how it works, which I think is a really cool touch. And it, again, gives us more of an understanding of this infection and kind of how it works.
I really love how they've done the buildings, the external shot of the main buildings here. Anything from the skyscrapers to the museum to the Capitol building, like they've done a really good job of just the CG building, like with the museum, all of like the fungal growth growing up the sides. You really didn't get that so much in the game, but here it's more prevalent because of how it spreads. And yeah, I just thought the whole design, like architectural design that they've done and the CG around that, I thought it was fantastic.
Can I just say,
It looks pretty cool.
It looks cool. I'm looking at the picture of the museum right now, which is just in our Discord, guys. After 20 years, would the fauna and the flora do this to a building? Now, I don't know much about trees and plants. I don't know much. But after 20 years, would it look like this?
I think
Possibly more.
Do you reckon more?
Yeah. I think you'd be surprised how quickly it can grow.
If it's all Japanese knotweed, maybe.
You just have loads of self-set-own trees growing everywhere because it will just be nature. Nature will just want to thrive, and they'll find ways to do so. The moisture and the graduate. An apocalyptic world isn't going to stop nature with wind, water, sun. So the environment wouldn't change too much to stop that from thriving. And I think if you just didn't, well, I mean, you can look at a back garden. You don't cut your grass for 6 months. You can definitely.
I get complaints, mate.
You can definitely see it. And I mean, if you don't do weed spraying, it gets very weedy very quickly. So, I mean, that's just like if you leave it unmaintained for a year, let alone 20 years, I think it would be worse. And all this stuff down the bottom, the grass at the bottom is all like dried out.
Yep.
Just sun. It's not getting any water. I don't think you'd have different gradients like that. I don't think you'd have some dried out stuff at the bottom and then all green at the top, but that's just me being a nerd.
And that's okay.
A lot of it is moss, ivy, and stuff
Tendrils.
like that. So it doesn't look like they've got like trees growing out of the the middle of the pavement or anything like that.
I just wanted to get some opinions. You know, I thought it went too much, but apparently they didn't go hard enough. Right, they head inside, and I think this is a great way to like give a foundation of what Joel and Ellie's relationship's going to be like, because Ellie's like, we're going in, everyone's gearing up. She's like, give me a gun. I've got a spare hand. I can use a gun. And Joel and Tess.
I'm really sorry. I'll be right back. Continue. I'll be right back.
That's okay. And Tess is like, no. And Joel's like, definitely not. And they just kind of shrug her off like, we're not giving you a gun. What are you talking about? And I'm kind of looking forward to the point where Joel will get as desperate enough to be like, right, Ellie. And we all know it's going to come. But it's going to be like, Ellie, you're going to have to cover me now. Here's a gun. You're going to have to. And I'm excited for that moment. I think it's really nice to see kind of how their relationship will start off rocky for the first couple of episodes, and then we'll kind of just they'll just grow on each other. Sorry for the pun and the terrible word because of the trees and the fungus. And I just think they'll grow on each other. You know, it'd be great. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, there's one less person to protect Joel now, isn't there?
Oh my gosh! Oh Nathan, we're not getting there yet. Oh God.
I did think that Joel's communication here was fantastic.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He's dealing with a 14-year-old after all. And I just felt that his communication was really clear. Like, I really liked the line when he said, look, we're not going to be quiet. We're going to be silent, so not quiet.
And this is after they've gone into this building, realised the route isn't as dry as they thought, and they've come across an absolutely mauled body. And again, Joel and Tess kind of share this look with each other, and Ellie pipes up like, this isn't how I was attacked. She pulls out her bite, and this isn't how I was attacked. So then Joel and Tess are like, oh shit, this is... And then he kind of comes in with like, we're not quiet, we're going to be silent, because there's some bad shit in here.
I screen grabbed Joel and Tess's reaction when Ellie spoke a bit loud, and they were like they just gave her the look of and the
Let's
signal off.
see. I think I got. Oh yeah, just shut the fuck up. I think you're right. Yeah, they're dragging a 14-year-old through an apocalypse, and the only way to make that 14-year-old worse is to make her immune. Like, it doesn't matter if she gets bit. Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Tess made a good point just before this as well, that like you're not immune from getting mauled and
apart.
teared to shreds.
or shot by Joel.
Or shot by Joel if you start twitching again. That's a joke. Living life on the edge.
So he says it's time to be silent, and then they climb the squeakiest staircase known to man. Holy shit, this staircase. But it's such a brilliant way to build tension. Again, it's such a shame that I don't get to experience this for the first time and experience this world for the first time, because having seen a body mauled like that and not know there's clickers nearby, and I'm like, why is everyone being so quiet? Why do we need to be quiet at this point? You guys can handle infected. I've seen you guys handle infected. This is fine. And then to be introduced to the clickers like this, like you see Joel here just like proper quiet. He completely changes his way as a person to be like this rugged guy, and it's like, if this dude's scared, oh my god, I should be fucking terrified.
if you've got in the last episode, Marlene saying to Ellie, you know, these guys are capable of some shady stuff. Like, these guys are capable of really good things, or of like really terrible things. And then Joel's there being really scared and silent. You know, something's definitely around the corner.
Something's definitely
Something's
spooky.
definitely around the corner. But they did replicate in the game. You go through the museum. It all looks reminiscent of the game. The encounter, the clickers are in the same place. You're hiding behind the same sort of museum cabinets, trying to stay out of the clickers' way. I thought they did the clickers really well. They looked the part. They sounded the part.
The sound.
I've read it's the same people from the game, the same male and female doing the voices. The clickers, I say voices.
They're doing the mocap as well, because I mean the mocap was spot on. The movement of those clickers were amazing.
This was a human. Like, clicker sound is a human-made sound.
Yeah, I think they can. I can imagine they put a lot of like effects and stuff over it. I mean, if you want to hear a really good clicker sound, just ask me. But yeah, it's just the same. I don't know if a microphone will pick it up. I don't know if it picked up. Probably not in Discord. No, it did for everyone watching the stream though.
Nice.
I'll do it in person.
One really geeky point, one really nerdy point about the clickers. From watching the show, I'm not too sure how their echolocation works. So the reason clickers are clickers is because their clicking sounds echolocate. They can't see. So when they click and make noise, it's almost like they can hear what things look like. You know, like when you see those movies where like everything looks like thermal vision or whatever, that's the kind of thing that the clicker would see. So in the games, when they screech randomly, that's to basically give a burst of echolocation in a direction to view everything in that direction by sound. There was one point where clicker was approaching Joel. He was looking around the corner and the clicker made sounds before he was distracted and run to the left. So, but if it was a game, he would have seen Joel. But because it's a show, I'm keen to see how how exactly the clickers notice people and what it takes for them to realize someone's there, because they obviously hear very well, but do they have that same level of kind of vision in parentheses? I don't know.
Okay, so you're saying like maybe if I stood really still, like a dinosaur vision.
well, no, if you stood still, like in the game, if you just stood still in front of a clicker and they kind of did their clicky screech at you, they'd see that it's not an empty corridor. There's something there. There's someone there. So they'd run at you. So if you're in their line of sight and they make noise, that's where they can kind of see you kind of. So yeah, I mean, maybe Joel's just poking his head around the corner. Maybe I'm looking into it too much, but I'm keen to see how effective the clickers are in kind of seeing them and kind of hunting them down.
I thought this whole scene in the museum was very well shot. Very well shot. Yeah, they made it very claustrophobic. I've just got the shot of Joel now reloading his revolver with his torch, which is a stupid place for his torch. I'm sorry, I'm going to say this right now. Ellie's packed his torch with the little bit that you tuck in the front and it points forward.
Ellie's got the right torch.
Ellie's got
She's
the right
the
torch.
game.
Joel packs his torch, which is just a rod pointing upwards. Joel, what do you think? How you made it this far, Joel? How?
Yeah.
Oh.
I make you right. I don't know what he's thinking.
What is he thinking?
His first thing when Ellie pulled that out should have been, where'd you get that then?
Yeah, where'd you get that? Guess
Where did
it.
someone go to get one of those?
Guess it. Keep the sandwich. Gifts that.
Yes, going back. Got my torch.
He's just blinding his whole bottom vision if he's got a torch shining
He's
up. How do
lucky
you know
these
what he's walking
clickers
on?
can't see. Like.
He's out here trying to tell fucking ghost stories, mate. I don't know what his problem is. I don't know what he's trying to do.
He's not picked the best gun as well, has he? Like to reload a revolver in an area where you don't have to make a lot of noise. That's 6 individual bullets now you have to catch, put into one pocket, and now another 6 individual bullets you have to bring out and load. All while this camera is slowly panning on him, and you just know, this clicker's just on the outside of that camera screen. Oh God!
Also, aren't clickers headshots? Headshot kills.
They're headshots, yeah.
He's a shit shot.
And I mean, they're like 2 inches from his face, and he's like,
Yeah. He's shit shot.
Shit shots.
And he didn't have a shiv on him.
Always pack
so
a shiv.
He should have died.
He should have died and respawned back at a checkpoint at this point.
You're going to hug your clicker, man. You need to have a shiv on you, otherwise it's game over.
No, I jumped out a bit. Have we got to the bit where they walk the planks? I don't want to jump ahead, but I want to bring.
No, we're just in the museum as they're fighting the clicker.
No, that's after. Okay, fine. But yeah, no shivs. No shivs. At what point do you think he's going to learn? It's going to be Ellie, isn't it? Ellie's going to work out the shiv.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got the knife.
He's already commented
Yeah.
on the knife.
Yeah.
I think, I just want to see either Joel or Ellie just crab walk, grabbing sellotape and scissors from a shelf.
I
that's
joked
what I want.
about it at first, but I really want to see this. I want to see some crafting.
I want to see a
Yeah,
nail bomb.
but to jump ahead ever so slightly, but we do get an element of that when Joel's patching Tess up on the roof. He pulls out the duct tape.
Absolutely. And I heard that
Oh, he
noise, and I was
does,
like,
yeah.
oh, it tingled. It sent tingles.
I quite liked it. I was like, oh look, they're crafting a little bit. I liked it.
I liked
it a lot. I thought the clicker scene was really good. I thought they couldn't have done the clickers any better. I think they really hit the nail on the head with that whole scene, and I look forward to seeing more clickers. More clickers, please.
And they did after the clicker encounter as well. They had more kind of game and show dialogue mirroring each other. After the clicker encounter in the skyscrapers, and after in the game, and after the clicker encounter in the museum in the show, Tess is like, "Are you okay?" And Ellie's like, "Well, I didn't shit myself, so I'm good." So,
But she wasn't okay. I found it so funny. She got bit again.
Yeah, that's so like
The first clicker they run into, this person they need to just transport across the wasteland, and there's like, oh fuck, she got bit again. Oh,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Can you wait one encounter, please?
And it was good that Tess was like, I think when they were looking over and saw the infected at first, and Tess was just like, I know you're immune to that, but like this shit will rip you apart.
Yeah.
You ain't immune to that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
know
no,
your
yeah.
boundaries, like,
Yeah, nah. So they patch themselves up, and it's a shot-for-shot remake of Crossing the Building with the Plank, which I thought was really cool. Nathan's kindly provided these shots here being shown right now. It's good. It's very good shots.
It was really good. I really liked that bit. And then they had the bit where they looked over the rest of the city, more game dialogue around like everything you hope for from Joel. And Ellie's like, "Jury's still out." It's like, "I'll try not to get bit again."
All right, you got me. Okay, you got me.
I ate some mushrooms. But yeah, no, I just it was really nice. It was a good at this point. It's good because like Tess is getting frustrated. Joel's like, "Why?
What's your
You know,
beef?"
what's up with
Yeah.
you? Yeah, like calm down." And could you guys tell what the tension was between Joel and Tess? Like you kind of get that from the first episode, but in this episode, like
What's their
it's
deal?
really get what's their deal? Like, is it just like they've both been through a lot? As they said, they've done terrible things, and they just want
To each other. What's it?
they see a way out. Maybe they've spooned for too long. You know, what is the like? It just seemed like there was a bit of like almost kind of like I don't like you tension, but I do, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, what was that? I don't know.
Professional boundaries, mate.
I think they just I think they've both been through a lot, and they've obviously had some very traumatic experiences.
Mm.
And I don't possibly on Tessie's side. I think Tessie's just fucking a badass bitch,
Badass bitch.
and I think Joel can probably be frustrated at this point because he is just now so dead inside.
He wants to go home.
And I think I read something as well a little bit, but like Tess has hope. Like you see with this whole thing with Ellie, and like she still has a glimmer of hope that this is all going to work out. And Joel's just like, nah. Joel has just checked out. He's just for some reason still trying to survive. He hasn't offed himself, but he couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Shit. He's just checked out. He doesn't care anymore. He has nothing left to like live for. Whereas Tess is a bit like, there's still hope. We can fix this. We can go back to normal. And I'm guessing that's where the frustration comes in because she's trying to be like, let's do this. And he's like, this is just stupid. Fuck this.
Yeah. No,
We're going to get ourselves killed and we can just go and get another car battery. Shoot this one in the head. Off we go. She's infected.
double tap this one.
Double tap. Make sure she's dead. See you later. Look at, I'm already quids in here, Tess. I've got a machine gun. So I'll pick one up.
I'm taking a torch. I'm a torch up.
If I left DMZ like this, I'll be happy. All right? Successful. I'll be happy. So yeah, I that's the impression I get, and I think probably they're just mates, and they may have like comforted each other in the past, but I don't think there's anything really there. I just think they're co-workers that just chill out and make the best of a bad situation.
Yeah. Well, you got to be tough, haven't you? And if you see someone going in a direction that's, if there's hope on the horizon and they're going the other way, no, fair enough.
Oh, now you make me sad. Now you make me all sad. So the team make their way to the Fireflies HQ, but they head inside and there be a lot of dead bodies. And this is where we start to deviate from the game a little bit. I believe it was Fedra who wiped out the Fireflies.
Yeah,
I thought that.
Up until this point in the game anyway, Fedra from the QZ, when the guard was killed, Fedra, the military in the QZ, had been chasing them basically throughout all of the locations mentioned and had got ahead to the Capitol building, killed the Fireflies. Yeah.
But instead, in this, it was actually a group that got infected and they all kind of died during the kind of panic of fighting the new infected, getting bitten themselves, and everyone kind of died, or we thought had died during this attack here. Now, I thought this was possibly when they were going to introduce this other female character who is heading up like another group of, don't want to say rebels. Is it Kathleen? I thought this is when we were going to be introduced to Kathleen. Absolutely, yeah. I thought maybe this wasn't Fedra that wiped him out, but I thought this was going to be like the ruthless leader of a revolutionary movement. But then I read Kansas City, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, maybe not.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I say that. I'm in the game actually. I think I'm second guessing myself. I'm not too sure if it was Fedra that wiped him out. I think it might still have been infected, maybe, because Fedra definitely come. But whether they were there before, I'm just
maybe Fedra turned up after they heard gunshots.
Fedra definitely turned up after, instead of the zombies that came in for Tess. But I'm not too sure what killed him originally. It was either zombies or maybe just general bandits in the area. I'm not sure.
So one of them comes.
I'll go back and play the whole game. It's fine.
Thanks, Drew. You're doing the Lord's work. I appreciate that. Thank you.
No worries.
So one of them reanimates and starts to crawl towards the group, and Joel one bangs this bad boy. Boom. But as we learned earlier, lands on an infected route, which then sends the signal to every infected in the area. So everything in the area knows exactly where these guys are, and they do not have much time left.
No, they do not.
No, they do not. And is it this time now that has Tess already revealed that she's been bit? Or is it after this has gone down, this dude's been shot, and now Tess is like, oh, BT dubs, just when you thought it was going to get a bit worse, I've been bit.
I've got.
Whoops.
Yeah, I've done a big whoopsie. Big whoopsie. So Tess uses her bite to compare to Ellie's to kind of further prove that Ellie is special, and starts to kind of pour her heart out again, like you've mentioned before. That there is hope. Ellie is the key. You need to get Ellie to Bill and Frank. You need to continue this journey without me. And they share a moment again, not entirely sure what their deal is between them business colleagues, but they share a bit of a moment, and Tess starts to pour fuel out and starts just throwing grenades everywhere. So I'm like, pick up a grenade, Joel. You've picked up a rifle. Why don't you pick up a couple of those grenades? Just
Wet.
Wet. This grenade's even more volatile now. I can't take this with me.
I mean,
Jesus.
When you're in a room where someone is actively pouring gasoline and grenades on the floor, that's kind of your cue to leave, really.
I'm
It'd
gonna
be
get
rude to
dizzy.
stay at that point.
I'll stay for the smell and then I'll leave. Okay, because that is going to be smelling nice.
Get your rag out, dip it.
Yeah, I'll save this for later. Dip.
Also,
Whip.
before you fully commit to burning the place down and throwing like petrol all over the place, make sure your fucking light works first, dickhead.
I don't know why she didn't just pick up a grenade and just pull that.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Like-
Just have a grenade and that will all kick everything off.
Oh,
Terrible
yeah,
advert for Zippo, I must say. Poor buggers. They must.
Funnily enough, did you know that the lighter was an Easter egg
Was it really?
from Uncharted 4?
Oh, of course. I bet it didn't work in that either.
I can't remember, but it was Nate's brother's lighter.
Why's Tess got it?
I don't know.
Hang on.
Yeah,
Uh,
why's Tess got it?
Maybe there's going to be a crossover, mate.
Oh, there
It's
you
so
go.
unhappy, yeah, Uncharted.
It is Fear the Walking Dead, isn't it? Fear the
Oh.
Uncharted, Last of Us.
I was
Yeah,
thinking,
Easter egg.
I was thinking she could test a lighter, but on the other hand, I was like, mentally, she's got quite a lot on her plate. You know, she's got an incoming horde of zombies in about a minute, and you know, she's infected, so there's that. So
There's a lot going on right now. There's a lot to unpack.
yeah. So I mean, fair play if she hasn't done things in that exact order. But
I did like Joel's snap reaction though. As
Yeah.
soon as it was safe for you to save, he's like, "No, you're right. When you're right, you're right." And
Bye.
just pick her up. See you later. We're out.
Kicking
you're
and
right, you're
screaming.
right.
Just flinged her
Don't
over her
touch me.
shoulder. Come on, we're leaving.
And Ellie was pissed, mate. She's like, "Do not leave me with this grumpy douchebag. Do not." And he was like, "Too bad, chick. Come with me." And
Yeah,
Tess
but
was
she
there.
hasn't built much of a relationship with Tess. What's it been? 48 hours? Like, grow up.
Yeah, but Tess is like, "Well, let's save her, Joel." And he's like, "Nah." Infected. Dead.
Bye.
like, the only way that you would think would even remotely work of saving Tess would be to just take Ellie's blood and try and inject it in Tess in the
Put
hope
it
that
in.
it would
Put
fight
it
the. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it probably wouldn't have happened within the 30 seconds that we had to get out of there. And gasoline and grenades were already over the floor, so you know.
I thought, sure, if she ain't picking these up again, this is ridiculous.
I need a mop.
I mean, yeah, like Tess was kind of attracting the zombies. Yeah, she had a date with a zombie. Didn't
She just really what's the word I'm looking for? She just did it for him, you know. She was just this one dude, which I thought as the zombies and the infected and clickers were all pouring in, I thought they were going to pull a bit of like what they did in World War Z in the film there, that if you're infected, the other infected will ignore you because the job's already done. The job's done. You're infected. It's in you. We're now moving past that because it's in our brain. It's in our, I don't know. It's in our brain just to like infect as many as possible, move the infection on, off we go. So I thought it was like, oh, okay. So the infected will ignore someone who's infected, but not this one dude. Now, this dude, was he the first sighting of a stalker?
He did look different to the others.
Very different. Now, I didn't know if they were already introducing stalkers. This dude was different. He was a bit smarter. He picked out Tess from the group as the rest of them were kind of running past and walking past. He's like, I'm going to get myself a bit of that. Quiet.
Yeah, I mean, Tess attracted him from the get-go,
Yeah.
like from across the city. I mean, she was on like her zombie dating app, Tess, 40, looking for a fun guy.
Oh, you had that written down. You must have done.
Oh, I thought about that yesterday.
Oh, for God's sake. But I think
But
this is the controversial scene that I heard so much about online during those
I think it's
24 hours.
trash.
Go on, show you're working.
The whole like imitating a kissing scene
Mhm.
to infect Tess and get. I just think the whole thing was just cliche, tacky, and crap. I don't appreciate it. If I see it again, I won't appreciate it. Just the whole thing is supposed to be a violent kind of world. Don't have like romanticize this.
I mean, did you not find that pretty horrifying? Like,
Not
Like she-
really. I don't know. It just kind of felt that they were trying to like
I
put
did
in
not.
like a kissing thing. Just have them rip her face off. Or bite her face off. Don't just like sit there and slowly move in for a kiss with all these tendrils calling out and entering them out. I just thought it was crap. I didn't like it.
It does let the mind wander a bit as to what I mean. That Tess looked absolutely terrified. It's kind of like accepting the inevitable, and it's almost kind of you're just accepting. Tess is accepting the inevitable, just opening the door and just kind of submitting it to it, which is really horrifying based on how they infect you. And obviously, she was trying to get the lighter. She had a plan. She knew what she was doing. But in order to do that, she had to basically succumb to what she was trying to avoid, for the last 20 odd years, and just basically walk into it, without resistance. So
I just don't know what needs to be mouth to mouth. I don't want it to be mouth to mouth. Why not? If you're gonna like grip me and surprise me and make it a bit like gross, have it go through the eyes. Have it go through the eyes or up the nose, in the ears. Why has it just got to be like a slow kiss thing? It's crap.
Is this
fair,
how
mate.
the infection passes if you don't fight it? Everyone else only gets ripped apart, beaten up. I mean, I'm going back to Granny Adler.
The Granny Adler wasn't mouth to mouth.
Absolutely, but
Yeah.
that's because the people she was fighting was trying to fight her off, which is why she got aggressive and maybe bit. Whereas this one, like Nathan's kind of said, Tess is kind of accepting the fact that she's infected, and now this is how the infection is passed when there's no fight.
If there's no fight and the infection passes mouth to mouth, I'm going to be very pissed off with this entire series. I think it's stupid.
I don't understand why he went to infect her further. In my mind, the way that this fictional virus passes through is that one person is infected, she's infected, move on to the next. I don't understand why this. I'm pretty sure as a stalker comes up to Tess and then finishes the job.
I would just like to say it's a fictional virus until it gets hotter.
What, like the Earth gets hotter or this kiss scene gets hotter? Because like this is pretty hot.
If it's got to be mouth to mouth transmission, it's just stupid. I
Well,
really think it's stupid.
we already know that there's different types of transmission. It's not just mouth to mouth. That's just one of the ways in which that they infect others. Because if they get bit, or if there's like fluid to fluid like transmission, which going back to the museum scene, I did look at one of the clickers when the clicker had Joel on the floor, and the clicker was like drooling in Joel's like nose and mouth, and I was like, oh, yeah, they bypassed that quickly.
You need to get a nose and throat doctor, mate. You need to.
ENT.
So I was like, but no, I think it's just one of the ways they can get infected. So they just highlighted that.
I don't mind if it happens once, but I just think if they're going to like, really double down and have all these scenes where people are, because there's going to be more times where people just accept their fate and they don't know they're going to get got. But they all have to have like the kiss of death. It's just.
I think you're like, it's not like they're not going to be in the next episode. Like if it has to happen again, like the person just sets out a candlelit dinner next time just to elevate it. I've been expecting you as the zombie comes in. Just like dressed one strap over the shoulder.
I hope not. I think they should grow up.
I think this scene was put in, and this is a bit of a theory from myself. This scene was put in to make people like us talk about it and to make the online people get rowdy about it. Because look what's happened. We're talking about it. I've seen it all over Facebook, all over Instagram. This one scene is pissing people off, and it's worked. We're talking about it. It's spread it around.
Why is everyone else pissed off?
Because of this scene. Because it's the kiss, mouth to mouth. I think it was more awkward, if anything. People who've played the games like this is unnecessary. She's already infected. People are seeing it kind of like from my point of view of this virus is already infected Tess. Why does she need to be infected further? Is it to infect her faster? But again, it's just it was an incredibly uncomfortable scene, and I think that's why it's done so well that there's been a 24% increase in audience from episode 1 to episode 2.
Has there?
The game's gone up 300% in sales. Part 1 and the part 1 remaster.
because I think like it being uncomfortable, because people are saying, oh, it's unnecessary, but like it's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's not like it's not a nice thing that's happening. It's not supposed to be it's not a comfort watch. It's supposed, I mean, it's like, I found it like a horrifying thing, knowing what's going to happen, and thinking, oh my god, what must that feel like? I just found that very kind of horrifying, and unlike the game, but again, it's not supposed to be comfortable how all this happens. So
I appreciate the infection is going to get licked on. You're not going to get licked on and be like, oh, look, you're now infected. But I think it could have been, and I don't even give a fuck how horrible or gruesome it is. I think you could do it worse. I just think the whole mouth to mouth, two heads slowly moving into one another, it kind of tried to make it a twist on like a romantic kiss scene. I just think it was just a bit silly.
You don't think it paid off?
I don't think it paid off.
How do people pass infections and stuff like that?
Well, like, no, but just 10 drills go up the nose or something like that. That would have been gross and more horrific. That'd be absolutely worse than going from a mouth.
If I have like a flu or an illness or some sort of kind of contagious thing, it's all out of the mouth and out of the nose, isn't it? So like, where else are they going to do it from?
Well, make it go up her nose then. Stop making it go in her mouth. Slow movement, like, or just grab her, rip her mouth open, and then have all the stuff go into her mouth. Don't make it all slow and lovely.
Slow and sexy.
Yeah.
Did you
in there, rip her mouth open, break her jaw, and then just have it go.
This has been a really good look into your psyche, Drew, I must say. This has been really good.
My biggest thing is that even in The Walking Dead, they should have had Laurie miscarry and then the baby eat its way out.
That's a whole different podcast. Oh my goodness, yeah. I remember talking with you about that, actually. I watched this scene, and my main worry was that it was going to awaken something within me that I didn't want awakened. I was like, is this hot? No, it's not. Yeah. No, it's not.
Are you going to go dressed as Tess now to Comic-Con, hoping you walk into a couple of clickers?
Absolutely. And be like, oh no. I haven't heard one G's Joel yet.
Just a bunch of nerds walking around with tomato spaghetti running out of their mouth as tendrils going, ooh, looking for hot babes.
Make it barbecue sauce and we have a deal. Right.
So the review is 2 out of 10. I was soft the entire time. Not what I expected.
Yeah, I think, yeah. But that's an easy cosplay, though, now, isn't it, really? You just got to have spaghetti, some Heinz spaghetti hanging out of your mouth. And then you're officially infected out of Last of Us TV show.
Oh.
Sure, the upcoming Comic-Con.
Righty. So, Tess's lighter finally ignites. It goes kaboom. Finally. And our final look, we find Joel and Ellie together, watching the explosion, being like, I bet she's kissing one in there. I knew it. I knew she'd be kissing someone in there.
I've been on 5 minutes. Yeah. She's already cheated on
me. And we're left with the question of, will Joel seek out Tommy, or has Tess finally convinced Joel of another quest? What do we think?
I think she's convinced him, because realistically, he would just be like, fuck this, going home.
Bang.
I mean, even Joel did say you can't go back to the QZ. Well, not with Ellie anyway.
Yeah, not with Ellie.
Oh. Are you thinking that he might be thinking cap her off and then head back?
Yeah, because realistically, Joel from the get-go has been, this is too dangerous, this is ridiculous, and his first day hasn't been the smoothest of runs. So if Tess hadn't convinced him, he would just be like, sorry, you're infected, I don't believe in this trash. Bang, you're out, I'm dead inside, I've killed loads of girls now, I'm used to this. No, water off that's back. And he'll just go back, he'll smuggle himself back into the QZ. And he'll be like, Joe, where'd you get a machine gun from, bruh? And he'll be like, sorry.
You seen that guard? That's his gun, funnily enough. That's got his serial number on it. You seen him?
I don't think that this Joel is like that cold, to be honest. Like, I think, like, if you think like what is actually tying him back to the QZ, he had Tess and he was trying to survive, but Tess is gone and now he's got this, potentially a new purpose. I just think that there's no real motivation for him to go back to the QZ, and I'm keen to see how they're going to explore Tess's loss with Joel and Ellie in the next episode.
Do you know how I think they're going to do that, Nathan?
How?
Flashback! The next episode is episode 3, titled Long, Long Time.
I thought.
I swear to fucking God, you guys. I swear to God.
It's a long, long time in the past. It's going to be a flashback episode.
Yeah, the title was directly linked to it being a flashback.
No, it's going to be a long, long time. They're going to be on the road for a long, long time, moving forwards
Do you
in the
reckon?
present day.
Okay, no, I see it. I see it.
They'll
I
probably
think-
start off with another flashback about fucking wherever he was. Where was we?
Jakarta?
No, he didn't. Was it
Jakarta, yeah.
Jakarta? Probably something like that. But look, I mean, we brushed through that because there wasn't much to talk about. Because the first 20 minutes was that bloody cadaver on the table with tendrils. We know that's happening.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
So much of a flashback.
this has
And the
been.
biggest flashback is going to be, excuse me, episode 7. That is left behind.
Yes.
Yeah, we know we have to go back at some point. Yeah, because they've already shown the merry-go. They've already shown the merry- Well, we've already seen the merry-go-round. It's,
I know
you
we're going back, but I don't think we have to.
I think Drew's fast forward button's going to have.
The
plenty of
question
use on
isn't
it.
if. The question if should we? Like.
Yeah, I know it's happening. I know it's going to happen, but I don't think we need to. I don't think we have to go back. They could have just extended it. But whatever.
I do feel like Billstown is going to be a episode if they go that route. If they don't, I mean, if they don't deviate too much, it seems like quite a big chunk of episode to have. You could.
I'm
easily
already
fill it.
concerned how they're going to fit the whole game into 9 episodes. And that's without them fucking spending 20 minutes of each episode on the pointless fucking flashbacks. Sorry, it's not even part 1. It's
really
part 1 and
doesn't
part 1.5.
He does.
Because
He
you've
really
got
does
the
like
merry-go-round in
flashbacks.
there.
He really
You got
does
left
like it.
behind. So you got in 9 episodes. You need to do all of part 1 and the DLC. And on top of that, all your bullshit flashbacks about a new law that we don't care about.
So you enjoyed it, Drew?
I did enjoy it once we got past the fucking flashback.
Uh,
Once we got to Joel and Ellie and Tess, I was like, yeah, here we go. I was like, hold on. I've only got half hour left. This is
I've
trash.
been robbed.
Waited all fucking week for this just to have 20 minutes stolen from me. Bullshit, mate.
Yeah.
But the other episode, yeah, the rest of the episode was really, really great. I loved it.
Wonderful. Any final thoughts before I wrap up episode 2? of The Podcast of Us?
No, I've done the liar. Ellie had the torch. I've done a crafting with duct tape. Fungus travelling along the floor. I've got in big bold letters here. Flashback took up half the damn episode. Yep.
Yep.
I think I've covered that. And I didn't appreciate the kiss of death. It was
No.
trash.
Fair enough.
I'll give it
Nathan?
3.
3. Have you got a phrase for us? I mean, last episode we used my one, for example, was the perfect pilot. Have you got a small phrase for us about episode 2?
Say
Oh,
to the
good.
piano frog. Oh, sorry, go on. What did you say?
It was half good.
It was half good.
good.
Half good.
Half good.
It's a
Yeah.
half good out of
It's
10,
half good
guys.
it was.
Half good. Less flashbacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nathan, any final thoughts?
We had piano frogs, ducks, clickers, so many creatures introduced into the lore.
So much budget.
I love it.
I love it. So
I
much
love it.
budget.
Yeah. Can't wait for the next one. Keen to see where the journey goes.
I want this frog. What's the backstory on this frog?
What's the backstory? How can it play the piano? Like, was it the hotel greeter back in the day? You know, was it like the hotel's pet? You know, I think we should have a frog flashback where we go back to how the frog was used, you know, within the hotel. You know,
Also, didn't she start playing the piano?
She did, yes, and then a skull or skeleton something. Oh no, she was pretending to be a bellboy, and she moved the trolley, and then a skeleton like booped, and then Joel gave a little kick on the head, double tap.
Joel,
I don't
Joel
think the games have inflicted this onto my brain, but if I was going into any new building, I would be shutting the fuck up. Like, no one would know I'd be in there.
yeah, I mean, it did look like it was. I mean, Joel knew the water height in there, so it was a regular path.
Well, everyone knew the water higher in there. They just couldn't see the fucking desks.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
The
that's a bit-
trench foot man. I hate wet
this was on
socks.
there. I think this was on their smuggling route. But yeah, no, like she was messing around like with the till, and Joel was like, "You're a weird kid." Ellie was like, "Well, you're a weird kid. Get wrecked, Joel."
Fucking point flip.
Like that.
Really good to see that charisma coming through that we all know about. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm with you. You'd want to be super cautious on each building. Like if there was a 14-year-old with me playing piano in each building I'd go into, I'd probably have some words.
Break your fucking fingers, mate. That's what I'd do.
Jesus.
Just mate, just be gagged and bound. Do you know what I mean? Just shut the fuck up. Follow me. You are cargo. You have no rights anymore.
Oh my gosh! Oh god!
Good job to do.
You're 10 pints of walking cure, okay? So shush.
Exactly. Yeah.
10 pints of walking
That's
cure.
the point. Actually, I would probably drain a couple of pints of her blood, put it on my back page, just in case something went wrong. Be like, look, she was annoying, but I got 2 pints out of her. Maybe you could deal with that.
In a little
So I get
2-pint of
half-
milk container. Yeah, swishing
I get
around.
half a battery for that. Come on.
You throw it on the table because it's been stored improperly. It just looks like 2
Oh, it's all
pints of like Angel
gloopy
Delight.
and
Yeah.
oh, strawberry angel
Ew.
delight. Oh
Sorry.
god.
Oh, lovely.
Well, I really liked this episode.
Did you?
I think it's fantastic what they're doing for the genre, the zombie genre and all. I think it's fantastic what they've done for the game adaptation as well. I know a lot of other game adaptation, both films and TVs, are looking at this and kind of going, what the hell? What's happened here? So hopefully it's kind of broken a bit of the curse of changing the original source material and then it flopping, and then everyone's like, oh, why did it flop? Because you haven't listened to the source material.
Because you've got randos, you've literally hired random screenwriters who have no, expertise in this area, like in
Absolutely.
adaptations. So yeah.
Yeah,
You
but
say that. Haven't Pedro Pascal never played the game? Didn't even know what the game was.
He didn't know what the game was, but to be fair, he's not the one giving direction and arranging everything.
and look
so
at
I
him
think-
now, Drew. He's living the game.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm very jealous that he's living the game. So, imagine being on that set. Maybe we should all just fly out to say, why do we apply to be on season 2? Actually,
Should we
to
hang
tell
back?
find out what season 2 is about, I don't want to be a part of it.
Nah.
Yeah, season
This is
2.
going to be, sorry, this is going to be a global fuck up on their part. If I'm not going to give anything away, but if they do season 2 as part 2 of the game, this is going to be a global fuck up, like worse than season 8 of Game of Thrones.
I think the game was a bit worse because you were stuck with it for 10 hours. So I think it was definitely a harder pill to swallow when you are needed to progress the game and it does it in that way without giving any spoilers. But I do agree, if they don't do some significant shifts around in season 2, they're going to lose a lot of the fans. They're going
And
away.
they're gaining so much at the moment. This thing is just blowing up.
And yeah, if you just think back a couple of years, I think the fans kind of said what they wanted to say. So yeah, we'll see.
See what happens.
I'm excited going forward. Can't wait. The weeks can't come fast enough.
What do you think's going to happen next episode?
If they're going to start making their way towards Bill and Frank, I don't think they'll make their way to Bill and Frank. I think we'll see them at the end of the next episode. But episode 3 will be potentially like running into a few more raiders, I think.
Oh, a stop on the way.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen infected, we've seen clickers, we might see raiders. I think they'll run away from a bloater and not deal with one immediately and then make their way to Bill and Frank's. And I reckon there will probably be a time jump.
Throw a flashback in there for good measure, just for Drew.
Yep. Yeah. It will start with a flashback.
I reckon they'll get to Bill and Frank early on, and then they'll end on the road again. And I think the episode after that will meet the other 2 people. That's quite a big part of the story.
Yep. Nice.
In episode 4, because realistically, they have to start moving it along. We're going to be a third of the way through after.
Or
next
do
week.
they?
Well, yeah.
Or do they?
Well,
Could season 1 be half of part 1?
There's nothing I would love more, because I don't want season 2 to be part 2. So I'd be more than happy for that to happen. I really would, but I don't see it because I'm pretty sure they're already talking about season 2 being part 2.
Damn it.
So yeah, I'm this, but we'll see.
Right. Fantastic. Nathan, what do you think's going to happen next?
I don't know if they are diverging from it. There's a character, Kathleen. I hear she's from Kansas. Does that mean they're going to Kansas? Are they going to Texas? Are they going back to Joel's old home or area? I have no idea, but I have a feeling we're going to be stopping off at some new stops. So yeah, I'm keen for it. I'm keen for
much.
where they're
So
going.
much to take in.
I do think we're going to see Bill in the next episode.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Drew and Nathan, for talking us through your thoughts on episode 2, Infected.
Thank you, Matthew.
No, thank you. And a huge thank you to everyone for sticking around and listening. If you've enjoyed yourself, please do consider following, liking, and subscribing. You all know how to do this. I won't have anything on the screen. We're all adults here, I hope. This is over 18. We are back again talking about episode 3 next week at 7:30 GMT time on twitch.tv/Mateus Players and every other Tuesday after that until this fantastic bit of content is finished. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining us. Any way to sign off, guys? Any way you want to sign off?
No, unless I do my catchphrase.
You want to do your catchphrase? Go on, do your
Go for it,
catchphrase.
mate.
Go on, do your
Do it.
catchphrase.
I've forgotten it. It's only been a week. This may not be the last of you, but this is the last from us. Oh no, it should be last of us.
Go on, try again. Go on.
Fuck you guys. Can someone else do it? I'm too stressed.
No, that's how it's going to end now. That's exactly how it's going to end.
No, I'll do
No,
it
no,
again.
no.
I'll do it again.
Okay.
This may not be the last from you, but it'll be the last from us. No, I've done it again. Haven't I? Fuck it, just end it. Just end
He got
Come
it.
on.
He's got it, guys. 2 take Drewby. He got
We've got a
it.
week to improve. Okay.
Yep.
go.
Fantastic.
Damn
Thank you.
it.
Thank you, guys.